Greetings, dear ones. This is Friday, January 31st, 2025, and this is the newly titled Revolutionary Revelations. And those of you who may have seen the reminder, the announcement for today's episode, may have noted the title of History Casts a Long Shadow, and both collectively and personally. And while this is true, and that was the theme for today, and all of my notes and observations this week were lined up for that, and it still is absolutely in the forefront always, not only today but always, that our history as a country, our history as a species, our own personal history is outpicturing what we experience in our everyday world, and particularly right now. And it repeats. It has repeated throughout history because each wave of the repetition is another form of it, another depth of it, another angle of it throughout history, to give us another opportunity to explore this form of separation, this way of control and domination, and in the form of a patriarchy, i.e. one gender over another, one type over another, and our continued exploration of that to this point where there's really nowhere else to take that. We have come to the end, the limit, the fullest extent of that exploration. And as I've mentioned many times before, as souls, we voted a couple of different occasions, marked points, whether it's the precession of the equinoxes many years ago, certain points in the past, I would say 20 years or so, that we have voted, and a majority now have voted for evolution. Majority of souls have voted for evolution. And evolution is very different than transformation. Evolution is very different than changing. And that's what's being called for in us as individuals. There are many methods, there are many tools out there for us to explore and use and come to know and be aware of and change our behavior, whether that's based in an allopathic, traditional form of therapy, or whether it's with all the different healing modalities and spiritual methods. But to all of my experience, it is still based in a cognitive awareness and a behavioral adjustment, which allows us to manage, handle, deal with, but ultimately all of those are methods of controlling the very, very powerful and deep emotional experiences, emotions that we have experienced from even before birth all the way through to, I'd say, about 8 years old, when all of these patterns became deeply imprinted within us, fixated. And when I'm working with clients one-on-one, the process, the work is to be able to access those fixation points and be able to, with the help of many energetics, etc., rewrite that history and set it back to its original form or original nature, so that then we are moving in our lives from our true nature, from our essence self, and we're no longer having to control our behavior or anyone else or the things that are going on in our lives. or out in the world, because we are materially, permanently changed within. And that automatically, and I like to say automagically, allows for that the circumstances and conditions around us to be different. And when we're talking about creation, we are not in a stage of, again, adjustment. This is evolution. And that means not modifying, rebuilding, anything, the current structure. It is, we're over it. It's done. This is why we're seeing such a complete deconstructing and destruction of structures around the world, whether it's governmental structures, economic structures, social structures, on and on and on. And that's unheard of to this extent, at this accelerated rate in the universe. And it is happening because each and every one of us hold existences. There are existences within us that are concurrently running, and we are here with the benefit of being able to access and utilize those other existences of us. Not all of them. We've chosen a few to align with the particular soul project we came to do. And those particular energies, many of you have had readings from people, many of you have been told you were some historic figure or a particular type of being by astrologers, fortune tellers, what have you, readers. And, while in the moment that's like, okay, that's very interesting. I was, Cleopatra. Okay, great. Then what? When we have our full capacity as humans, we are able to actually channel in, open those, portals within us and channel in the knowledge, abilities, power, gifts, talents, qualities from those other existences to bring into this alchemical mixture and create something new. And to do that in a physical dimension, and in a physical dimension that is such a low vibration that there are still hell realms on this planet, that there are still horrific things going on every day in many different countries, many different settings, and moreover in our very homes. And that's something that people don't generally like to talk about. And yet those occurrences happen every single day, and they have been happening. And each one of us experience those horrific traumas, horrific situations, horrific energies coming at us in whatever form or shape. I have had many clients over the years that were in literally nightmares as children. Torture, sexual torture, over and over and over again. But those that have not experienced such blatant, obvious horrors do not always realize the extent and depth to which an adult's behavior, an adult's choices, an adult's words can fall on a child and can affect a child. It takes so very little. Their little systems are so raw, so open. The energy field has not yet developed filters through the chakra system It has not yet had the mental capacity to understand what's going on. And even when they do, even when children do understand and have the realization, oh my God, this is happening, this person is doing this to me, and this is the last person on the planet that should be treating me like this, speaking to me like this, doing this to me, not doing this for me. And the little system cannot tolerate that over the years of it being repeatedly happening. So a defense system is built, and every time it happens, the defense system adapts, it gets stronger, it gets better, to the extent where we learn how to not feel. I say all this background because this is our individual history, our personal history, what we've experienced as children, and that history determines, dictates, drives how we are in the world and how we believe the world is and relates or reacts to us. So again, that personal history, the collective history, if you've studied history at all, you know of the horrors. If you watched Game of Thrones, you can see right there much of our history and how life meant nothing to those that had the power, and entire villages, entire civilizations could be wiped out for the benefit of those, again, in power, whether it was kings, emperors, popes, conquerors, what have you. So that repeated world history is what we're in right now, and our repeated personal history is what we are in this lifetime, and they absolutely reflect one another. So what is happening in the world is no different. What is happening in our country, what is happening, what the leaders are doing, what leaders, by that I mean either dictators, authoritarians, religious leaders, corporations, those happen to be the kings and the nobles and the large landowners of today, resource holders of today. And as a result of this depth of evolution that we are in, the most we need the deepest and most profound and most powerful catalysts and triggers. And so we're seeing that in what is going on in the world. And those are replicated, or let me say it in reverse. What we experienced as children, what we were traumatized with as children, is absolutely no different than what is going on. There is a thread that follows back to our own experience of that, a different flavor, a different level, a different extent, but the same pain, the same level of fear, terror, the same torture in some instances, the same neglect, the same absence of providing for, the taking away of some of the programs the other day that benefit the most in need. You know, I know of clients and people around me who, you know, they weren't provided food. They had to figure it out on their own, find whatever was in the refrigerator or in the kitchen with their little, and I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and having to deal on their own with getting nourishment. So whatever your particular experience of those same traumas, horrors that are going on in the world, when you are able to transmute those, it literally moves out of our culture. It it no longer is part of human nature. It is no longer part of our experience. And then you, in your personal life and in our greater world experience, planetary experience, are creating something new. And these wounds are very, very deep, historically, species-wide, and personally. And when we have that defense system constantly rebuilding, modifying, adapting, becoming more sophisticated, more stronger, better, then it makes it more difficult for us to feel. With the barrage of things that are happening in the world, it is turning our defense systems up to maximum, to purposefully so that we do not feel and we do not move. We're being put by the replication of that larger picture in the same position we were as children, having the feeling of, and as children it was definitely true, now we have the feeling of having no power to do anything with what's going on in the world or what's happening to our country, our culture, our children, our air, our water, that we have no control, we have no power, we have no leverage, and that we're entirely trapped, because what are we going to do? We have to get through our day. We have to go to work. We have to pay our bills. We have to take care of our home. We have to take care of our children, our family, whoever. And so this replication of childhood experience on this larger scale, this is Jungian transpersonal to the max. And it is necessitating very, very radical, revolutionary steps to be taken. So while those new to introspection, those new to self-work, and the steps that you are taking, I am always in deep honor and awe of the need, the call, the hearing of yourself, whether it's in a marriage or job or what have you, to say, I don't want this any longer. I don't care what I have to do. Let me go ahead and try to look inside and find my part in this and change that. Wonderful. I honor that. And then there are others who have done that work, or that's not enough. They're in a state where they must go deeper. And that's the work that I do with people in one-on-one. We go to the root of the issue. And that's not easy, because, as I said, we're trying to get past that. We're learning how, in a cooperative effort, clients are learning how to get past that defense system. And we will do that in groups also. I'm moving up the dates of start for groups and opening several options on different days so that more people can take advantage of them, because when we're gathered together, there is an exponential power of, when two or more are gathered. But it's more than that. It's each one is bringing their own pieces of shadow, as well as their beautiful light and gifts and talents and abilities, both human and beyond, to the table, to the mix, to the cauldron. And so that allows for a very, very quick and deep transmutation or transformation in those groups. It's transformation of things that are going on in our lives. So you can see results very, very quickly. I, again, honor all of those professionals, all of those coaches, all of those therapists who are doing work with people on the levels that they have chosen and are gifted to be able to do so. But I don't know that at this point we can work with just managing, handling, and controlling. There has to be a certain percentage of people, there has to be a certain depth to which we go to be able to change our actual DNA. And that's the game. That is what we're doing here. This, when I say evolution, that doesn't mean modification, that doesn't mean adjustment, it doesn't mean having, rebuilding parts of our country and our way of being with one another. It is literally evolving from who we have been into who we are becoming. So just checking my notes to see if there was anything. The other thing that was very, very interesting this week, and why this, point of history came up, is that this is not, we are not doing this alone. Absolutely. We have tons of experts, help. This has been done before in other ancient cultures. This has been done before on other planets, in other existences. So a level of evolution can occur. What makes this situation unique, what makes this planet unique, is that the old souls that are here, and everybody that is here is an old soul. Some have more expertise on this particular planet. Some have more expertise in other worlds, realms, kingdoms. But those worlds, realms, kingdoms, and dimensions are all interfaced with this planet in different locations around the planet, and because you are here. You are here with those other existences, dimensions, worlds, realms, depending on who you are, in you. And so as you humanly transmute, transfigure, or even metamorphosize what appear to be childhood wounds only, you are actually evolving those other existences at the same time. And that is allowing for the galaxy and the universe to evolve. I know that's a lot, and you may have to look at the transcript and read it over again for some of the clarification, for some clarification. But there's no more pussyfooting. There's no more, let's ease into this, as you all are experiencing every single day. And hopefully you are not watching the news, but at least accessing different news sources. I haven't seen news or heard news on the media, TV, radio, what have you, for many, many years. But I do source, or I do access sources around the world of actual journalism based on facts, of scientific breakthroughs and innovations, engineering. I was preparing a post this morning. One of the sources that I receive information from is a news, it's an online news of oil and energy. I've been watching the oil industry and the energy industry for many, many years. And all of this is interwoven with what we're experiencing. It isn't just about fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are the means by which the attempt to stay in the old, to stay in history and have it and allow it to repeat itself once again. Clean energy, sustainable methods, good health, environmental awareness and steps to preserve and sustain habitats and biodiversity and our air, our water, our land, our food. These are evolved processes whereby all benefit, whereby the countries, the poorer countries, are not always carrying the burden of the filth and resources being taken from them. It's the same thing as children. Again, children have no say-so. Children have no decisionary stance. And what's happening in some of the poorer countries, and has been for many decades, is they have no say-so on the world platform. They have corrupt leaders who sell out to large corporations, or those that take and steal and destroy in their world, and the people don't have a means by which they can, again, they have no power, they have no control, and they are trapped. Replication of childhood, as we all have experienced. Here in this country, up until this moment, we have had a system whereby we are not trapped, nor without power, nor without control. And even though there is an attempt to bring us to that right now, our actions have to be fast, swift, and deep in our personal lives and on the larger scale. The other day, I don't know how many of you were able to or received any of the information of at least 100,000 people protested in Germany. This and more we must do. People are talking about boycotting an entire day, not going to work, or not purchasing from certain companies for a month. I've been talking about this and encouraging people to do this for years and years and years, to get involved at the local level, and from there we are building upwards. To know what's going on in your township, to know what's going on in your county, to be able to make the choices that you think are best for you and for your family and for your immediate environment. State levels, we have to rebuild. Again, don't want to use that word. We have to build anew, but instead of from the top down, it has to be from the bottom up, and that's us. So I wanted to bring forward both the Hopi prophecy that has been, again, the Hopi information was so beyond our abilities and our comprehension up until very recently. And although the prophecies have been there for many, many years, it is only now that it may begin to come out and be understood. Recently listening again to Greg Braden and him speaking about the prophecy stone that is here in our very country, safely guarded, safely protected, and the two paths that we have the option to take. I encourage you to look that up on YouTube. And then that leads into also another historian of the Vedic tradition, which is the Hindu tradition. And these go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, where there are still writings about the different ages of this planet and beyond. And there are cycles, and we are in a particular cycle right now. And this knowing of what will come and having it actually recorded, whether on stone in carvings or whether it's in writings, it allows us to know that we are absolutely not in on this alone, and that it is possible. And that allows each of us as individuals to know that we can, however radical, however drastic, however ingrained the situation in our life, whether it's a physical diagnosis of some terrible disease, whether it's being handicapped by depression for many decades, whatever it may be. The fascinating thing about humans is that it can change. We can change anything. Anything. Within our own lives, within our own being, within our own bodies, should we definitely choose and be willing to do the work, yes, but also willing to change. We all say we want to change, but truly taking those steps and making those changes is very different. People say, I want $1 million, but they don't want anything else in their lives to change. And that can't happen. People want to, be happy in their world, but they know that they are in an unhealthy relationship. You cannot change everything around you and not change the one thing that you know is affecting you the most deeply, or come to know. And it may seem from the defense system's perspective that we cannot change that, because that would necessitate feeling the depth of our emotional, the emotional states from whence these patterns come, i.e. when we were children. And when we were children, we absolutely could not feel them. We did not have the capacity. We did not have anything to do about it. We could not make the changes that we wanted to then, so your defense system came in and protects you from feeling. Now, as adults, we must feel, even into the worst trauma. We cannot do it with our heads, or controlling or managing or adjusting to it any longer. This is the deadline. This is full out. And if you haven't noticed that in your world, personally and on a global scale, then maybe you want to take a look. Maybe we want to take our heads out of the sand. Maybe we want to stop turning a blind eye because it causes pain over and over and over again. So, I was actually wanting us to drop in very, very deeply today to be able to transmit, because we are all raw at this moment. We are all feeling the pain and anger and fear and grief of what's in our world, and it's triggering and catalyzing those same fears, fury, pain, and grief within us. So the oils came out today in a beautiful way, in a beautiful message. And I'm going to let you know what they said, and then we're going to drop in very, very deeply. I'm going to be transmitting some very profound energetics to alleviate, ease, soothe, and a sort of energetic balm for where we're at right now, and as well allow some of these energetics to be infused into your system to help the changes that you need to make and the things that you need to feel a little bit more, a little bit easier. So, without further ado, the first oil that appeared is a beautiful oil called sandalwood, and this is Hawaiian sandalwood. And this oil would be going on your very core, which is at the very center of your being, if you drew a midline down and a midline across. And they're saying that as and when you open to the very essence of your being, it will enable you to, this is an oil that they no longer make, unfortunately. It's called Fulfill Your Destiny. Actually, I'm going to go through the message and then I'll tell you what the oils are, because I want you to receive the transmission from these beautiful plant beings, their wisdom, their gifts. So they're saying that as and when you're able to more fully open and express the essence of who you are, will allow you to stand in and fulfill your destiny through the truth of who you are, following your innate soul information to live passionately and anchor into hope, so that your psychic heart can be eased, or so that the psychic information from your heart can create ease for you. Awakening to all of who you truly are and your presence in the world. Honoring deeply your life and your passion and creativity and power exerting itself in a beautifully balanced and mutually dualistic form. The oils are Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood, Fulfill Your Destiny. Trying to get them in the camera there. This I've had for a long time. The label is worn off, but this is Life of Passion. And this is an oil blend called Hope. And this is a single oil, and it is said it is one of the first oils ever processed thousands of years ago. It's called Cistus. This is an oil blend called Awaken. Labels are a little bit worn. They last forever. And another single oil called Laurel, for you to receive the laurel leaves of your accomplishment. And the last oil is Ylang Ylang. So I encourage you, I invite you, please contact me and let me ask the oils which ones would most benefit you at this moment. They are powerful helpers, but yet gentle at the same time. They awaken your intuitive abilities. They cooperate and collaborate with you on a daily basis. And these are Young Living therapeutic grade essential oils. I would not put anything else on or in my body. I've given them to all three of my feline children over the past 25 years. And I cannot say enough about having this and other means of help. So please contact me. We can talk very quickly, do a read for you. You can order the oils and start using them ASAP, because we are going to need them for a lot of different reasons. So now I'm going to invite you to just take a few breaths. Not any kind of way, not any particular type of breath, but just allow the breath to move through you in your way, your rhythm, your pace. And just feeling it, because that is life. And I would encourage you to sit with your spine as straight as possible, so that the energetics can run through you fully and clearly, and that you can then just kind of roll your shoulders back, bring your shoulder blades together a little bit, not forcefully so, but we all have a tendency to curve and hunch forward. And when you just roll your shoulders back, allow your shoulder blades to come together a bit, it allows for more opening, it allows you to breathe, it allows for energetics to move, and moreover, it's the position in which you don't have to be consciously holding yourself up or sitting. Your bone structure can do what it is meant to do. And you can close your eyes or not. There is no one way. Your way is the way. I would encourage you, though, if you have a tendency to meditate and go up and out, I would encourage you to leave your eyes open, if only a little slit, so that initially at least you're able to center in and go down and in you, because that is the most, not only the most beneficial for receiving the energetics, but also allowing you to become more familiar with your internal world, your inner verse, energetically, physically, etc. So as you breathe, there may be busyness in your brain. I've certainly thrown a ton of information at you. So just simply ask. Ask your brain, your frontal lobe, your third eye, as you would in the car, just have a seat in the back. Just sit in the back and let go of the steering wheel, so that you can experience a different way of being guided and led from your internal voice, your internal soul information. And as you're just breathing and sitting and settling, I'm going to, as always, invite in and actually invoke the elements of earth, air, fire, and water to put in right relationship your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. They are some of the basic building blocks of our universe. And we are inviting them in and calling upon them to again bring right relationship to the water, the air, the physical body of you, and your spirit. Our four bodies, which allows the energy body to be more palpable and present to you. I call in and call upon, as always, the directions of the east, the west, the south, the north, the above, the below, and the within. And I'm going to allow for the new creation concept of the universe to be with us today. And as a spiritual lawyer for many, many years, I am invoking the new way of law, I am calling forth within those that are here or those that will be listening at a later point the wisdom, the knowledge, the abilities, from the non-human parts of you, or other human existences of you, and invite you to very, very gently, slowly, meaningfully, either out loud or to yourself, say, I am asking and I am allowing my body, my energy field, my wider self, which is your soul self, my emotional body, my guides, teachers, masters, angels, all, to join me here and now, assisting me, guiding me, leading me down and within me to my innerverse, to my divine self. And then surrender to those many parts of you, guides of you, etc., and simply allow. Allow your body and your energy field to do what they know how to do, which is to bring you down and in to you. You may feel yourself even softening or becoming more heavy or even more sleepy. Please allow. For that is your system guiding, leading, showing you the way to be in as you. There is no effort, no thought, no intention, no goal, no work needed whatsoever. The more you allow, the more you receive, the more you palpably experience. Take in that which is being transmitted to you, for you. In the exact right way, the exact right proportion, the exact right vibrational coherence for you. Anytime your mind wants to settle on something or work on something, just notice, and then feel whatever there is to feel in whatever way, on whatever level of you, be it physical, energetic, emotional, spiritual, not having to track it, note it, label it, understand it, but simply sensating, simply feeling, simply experiencing whatever there is here now for you. The more you allow and simply experience, the more deeply the transmissions infuse, imbibe, infill you. So we're going to drop in a little bit deeper, even the next level. And again, don't have to know what that means, how to do so. Your system knows. And I'm going to call in some very, very quantumized particles and subatomic particles For that is the depth of our reality. That is being built anew. And you need not follow my words. You need not comprehend any concept. Keep allowing. I'm speaking so that the transmissions can be experienced through my voice, and also to let you know if your eyes are closed that we are still in the deep dive within. And the energetic transmissions for the profound transformation, transmutation, and ultimately evolution And if you feel like nodding off, please follow that lead. For it very well may be your system requiring you to be in an altered state or deep state. Receptivity. Again, just feel, just sensate, just experience. For we have energetics from the very utmost building blocks of matter behind our reality, under our reality. As well as cosmic energies. from the universe and even beyond. Although the evolution is happening through humans on a physical basis, there are many benefiting on intergalactic levels, and even universal levels. For you are all that and more. And now there is an energetic of the most profound peace. Peace profound. Responding to those existential fears, you may feel sensations in certain areas of your body, particularly your first chakra, if you know where that is. If not, your pelvic floor, genital area. Allowing for a safety and security And now I invite you to allow your own system, your own energy field, your own wider knowing to direct you, guide you, lead you in your own form, your own rhythm, your own pace. Of physicalizing the energetics that your system took in. Some refer to this as integrating and consolidating. I like to say that as you're moving from a less physical state back to a more physical state, that these energetics are embodied within you. They are physicalized within you. So that you are able to sensate them, call them forth, sink back into them whenever you so choose. And as usual, this will be posted on my YouTube channel, A Healer's Universe. And I encourage you to replay the energetics that were transmitted. They were extremely powerful today, in answer to all that we've been experiencing, of course, for the past week. And please reach out. I'm offering greatly reduced fee structures for those that have chosen and decided to make those profound transmutations in their system. And the dates and forms of the upcoming groups will be going out in email tomorrow and probably posted here. So if I don't have your email, please make sure and message me or send an email to Andrea@healersuniverse.com. And otherwise, I hope you take advantage or are able to take advantage of the weekend and rest and grieve and get angry or whatever is coming up, so that it is not held in your system, it's not held in your body. So as always, it is with so much honor and gratitude and love for your presence here on this planet. Until next time, be well.